Do you have, for the folks, our viewers that are watching, some examples or stories of real-life situations where you've been able to help people that might be of interest?
Well, you have to remember, we only started August 3rd.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, we don't have a record yet, but we do have.
We've had, I can tell you about the first client we had. He needed a ride to for one-day surgery on a particular day. I happened to be free, and so I took him to the Duracell Center for his surgery, picked him up at his house at a given time. He wasn't sure, actually, following the one-day surgery, whether he was able to go home or had to go to rehab. So we were prepared, actually, to do whatever he needed. And as it turned out, he did go to rehab. And then from rehab, he lives alone, has no family in Brookfield. We were able to provide him a ride to his home from rehab.
Oh, that's great.
And I could tell he was a bit nervous, so I sat with him and tried to chat a little and made sure that he got where he was going and that kind of thing. So.
And I must say he was most appreciative.
Yes.
I did talk on the phone once with him, and very appreciative of the support given from the community. It's a community effort.
And I would imagine an individual like that would help to spread the word and be a sort of an advocate for your organization as well.
That's what word of mouth will probably do more for this organization than anything else, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
We're going to try to do whatever we can here.
Thank you.
You mentioned if people want to contact to either help out or whatever, but is it the same contact place if people need help? Is it one and the same if they want to help or if they need help?
It's the same phone number, right. We have 3 extensions right now. That number is area code 203-616-9678. And all they need to do is listen to the recording, and it's self-explanatory. If perchance someone watching today would like to volunteer as a driver, they would hit number 6, which is the general mailbox, and they could leave their information, their name and their phone number, and one of us would get back to them. It might take a couple days because you know, we all have other things on our plate, but certainly within, I would think within 3 or 4 days easily, someone would be back to them. If they needed a ride, then they have to select whether it's a Wednesday appointment or a Thursday appointment, and that would be a 3 or a 4. And it's all explained in the recording. The phone system works quite well, right, Carol? We checked it.
Actually, I think it's the same company that does Woodbury's, if I remember.
It is the same company.
They put us in contact with them and when we were doing our research.
Yeah, they seem to be satisfied with it, and we're very happy with it.
Could you, for our audience, could you repeat that phone number once more?
Yes, certainly. It's area code 203-616-9678.
Now, you mentioned Wednesdays and Thursdays being the day, for availability, and I would imagine certainly you would want to have people contact your organization as much in advance as possible. What if there's an emergency and it just happens to be on, say, a Wednesday or Thursday? Is that going to be tough just because people might not be on call for helping, or?
Well, we do have emergency drivers that we can call on, and we would, I guess, encourage, if it were that kind of an emergency, that they ought to dial 911.
Right.
And but we have backup for backups, and
should we have too many calls, which we would like to have, we do have a backup driver, and as Carol said, if it is an emergency, indeed they should call 911. But our drivers usually will double check the morning that they're going out, just in case, especially in bad weather.
Right.
We were going to tell them a little bit about bad weather. If it's bad weather, you know, they may prefer, and we as drivers do not drive if the schools,
If the
are
schools are closed, we're closed.
We're
if the schools are delayed, we're closed.
Okay.
So that was one of the questions that came up quite frequently from our volunteer drivers. What if? And so we decided the easiest thing to do was to follow the school calendar. And we follow the school calendar as well on days when we do not drive.
for holidays
For
and
federal holidays and so forth. And that's all in print.
right. We have there's a document package that we
I
give
brought
out,
with me.
and one of the items is a letter for the clients, and it outlines the program and the phone number and the holidays and on which we don't drive, and it talks about snow days and inclement weather. We also hope to let some of the local doctors' offices realize that, you know, if the weather is bad, we do not take a chance and go out.
Yeah. So if there's a scheduled appointment and there's a school closing because of snow, or possibly I've noticed in Brookfield, I'm sure other towns as well, sometimes they'll even close the school proactively. So that appointment then would need to be rescheduled,
Right.
basically?
Right.
Okay.
Canceled or delayed, we
Do not drive.
do not drive.
And
right.
the doctor's office, because I know a lot of times I'm in doctor's office, without 24 hours you may be charged. They understand, and I would hope that they're accommodating on that.
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
I would think so.
And I must add, as a driver for Meals on Wheels, we follow the same procedure. No school, no meals. And we do try to anticipate ahead of time if they're, talking about a blizzard coming in 3 days, then they get extra meals. And I imagine our clients might try to perhaps change an appointment as well.
Yeah. Now, for the appointments, of course, it's only for Brookfield residents, but I imagine you take them to doctors that are in Danbury. Is there a certain distance, though, that you might say, just past this point, we just can't be of service to you, or?
We've advertised that our service is available for Bethel, Newtown, New Milford, Danbury, and Brookfield. So any medically related appointments in those 5 towns, we're happy to drive to.
Yeah, okay. Okay. We're getting close to the close here, but just a couple of other points. You mentioned how to be contacted. If there's one thing that you would want the audience to take away from the show, or 2 for that matter, what might that be?
Well, I think we've both, and the commission as a whole, have found that there is a need in Brookfield, in the Brookfield community, to help a neighbor. And FISH helps neighbors. It helps people as neighbors help neighbors and help each other. And that's what we would hope for, is that there are people out there who perhaps say, gee, I didn't know about FISH. Maybe I could help. And it's 1 day a month, and it's really brings you a lot of joy to know that you've made a person easier on their day. They don't have to worry about how they're going to get somewhere, and they're very appreciative. That's all I can say. The one person I drove couldn't thank me enough. And it just makes for a great day, neighbors helping neighbors.
Right. Well, and I find a lot of that spirit in town, and that's what it's all about.
Right.
We're excited about it. So.
Okay. And one last thing, you'd mentioned, you're in touch with some other towns. Do you know that have their equivalent? Do you know if there are other towns that aren't currently in FISH that are thinking of doing FISH? that maybe are contacting you as well as the other organizations?
I haven't heard of anybody, but I know from working with our Commission on Aging that we would do for them what other organizations did for us. We would help them get started. And
Yeah, I was in touch with the owner of Around the Clock Telephone, and he indicated that Glastonbury is putting together a program such as we have. So I know of one additional community. Woodbury has had theirs in place for
a long
about
time.
6 or 7 years, I think, and they have something like 40 some odd drivers.
Really?
So they've been very successful. And
Newtown has
a
been
program.
successful.
Sherman has a program. I'm not sure about Bethel. I'm not sure.
These programs that have been around for several years, are they now on a 5-day availability, or are they?
Woodbury does, I believe, 4 at least. I'm not sure about the 5th day, but they do.
I think Newtown does Monday through Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, and so we're headed in that direction,
Right.
I hope.
Right.
There you go.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to wrap up our show right now. Again, I'd like to thank our guests, Peg Casware and Carol Howe from Fish of Brookfield, for appearing on our show. I also want to remind our viewers that our air dates are on Charter Channel 21 are Mondays at 4:30 and Thursdays at 7. We also want to let you know we post segments from the shows up on YouTube, and you can find them at www.youtube.com/BrookfieldPublicAdvo. You may also contact us. Our email address is brookfieldpublicadvocate@yahoo.com. And please, we'd love to hear from you, whether it be comments on shows, ideas, things you'd like to see, topics, whatever, or guests you'd like to see. We'd love to hear from you, so please contact us, reach out to us. Again, thank you for watching, and good night.